It's Black Friday. How many of y'all have either already been shopping or are planning to shop today? Yeah, not me, man. I've never gotten into that habit, but it's part of our culture. And we're going to talk about that today in Jingle All the Way. I don't know if this is still a thing, but back when Jingle All the Way was made, having a hot toy list was definitely a thing. There would be a handful of things that were super high in demand, and you had to get in line, cross your fingers, and hope that you could find that overpriced thing. And I looked it up and found out that in 1920, the hot toys were stuffed Raggedy Ann and Andy's. Who knew? In the 1930s, it was a yo yo. Did you know that yo yos have been around since antiquity, but were brought to the United States by a Filipino man? Yeah. Apparently, they were hot toys in the Philippines first. I know there was a second yo-yo craze when the Duncan yo-yo came out. Do y'all remember that? I don't know. So I don't remember the name of it, but there was another yo-yo thing, and somebody tell me if you remember. But it definitely had a second go around, probably around the 80s. I don't know. The Shirley Temple doll was hot in 1945. That makes sense. It was the Great Depression, and that little girl made everyone smile. So who wouldn't want a little Shirley Temple doll? Slinky was the hot toy in 1945. Then Mr. Potato Head in 1952. Crazy that these things have stood the test of time, right? They're still around. And the hula hoop was 1958. And today they have these big weighted hula hoops that are used for working out, and they're just amazing. Love them. Did you know that Chatty Cathy was a real doll? She was the hot toy of 1960. And I'd heard the term before, but I didn't know that it was based on an actual toy. So never heard of that one. Pet Rocks came out in 1975, and that was a marketing miracle that sold over 1.5 million rocks in a box. That um, people just wanted, I don't know, as a gag gift maybe, or wanted a pet but didn't want to take care of it. And it's insane. Insane. And then in 1979, Atari came out with the first video game, and this was the console that played Pong and Tank. They sold 1 million consoles that Christmas. We had one. I don't know. I don't think it was bought in 1979, but we definitely had one. A Rubik's Cube was 81. Remember that? Oh my God, everybody had a Rubik's Cube, and they still exist today too. And it was said that, this was like the hardest thing ever. But today you can go on TikTok all the time and find people who can do them in under a minute. I can't do that. Um, but it doesn't seem like the mind user that it used to be. Cabbage Patch Dolls came out in 1983. Wow, that was a craze that lasted for a long time. I remember that and Beanie Babies. I think that wasn't too far behind. And they just kept cranking out different versions and people just kept buying them. Transformers was 84. Teddy Ruxpin was 85. And here's where we started getting a hot new toy every year. I think that's just marketing. And in 86, it was Nintendo. I don't remember Pogs, but that was 94. Power Rangers was also a big hit that year. And I do remember the Tickle Me Elmo in 96. So good luck getting your hands on one of those. Furbies happened in 98, and then Nintendo Wii was in 2008. Can you believe it's been that long ago? There was a dry spell for a while. Then in 2016, the big toy was Hatchimals. Never understood the appeal of those, but I'm not a 9-year-old girl. I have a friend who was in the toy business, and I'd always ask her what to buy, and she was always spot on. And that was one of the things that she recommended. It was really big that year. Anyway, Jingle All the Way came out in 1996, and the hot toy in that movie is Turbo Man. The movie opens with Howard, the dad in the movie, working in what looks like mattress sales, and he bends over backwards for everyone, and he's your classic people pleaser. But he doesn't give the same consideration for his own family. He has a history of letting his son down. He's missed most of his karate graduations, and his wife asked him to get a Turbo Man 2 weeks ago, and here it is, December 23rd, and there's no Turbo Man. He's just let his son down again by missing his karate belt graduation, and he promises his son that he won't let him down. This is the last time. He says he'll get a Turbo Man and that he will be on the parade to see Turbo Man on Christmas Eve. But Howard has to go shopping to find that Turbo Man that doesn't exist in any store because they're all sold out. And if you were ever part of one of these toy crazes, you know what that's like. So the whole movie is about the obsessive lengths that Howard is willing to go to get that Turbo Man. He almost steals his neighbor's Turbo Man from underneath the tree. He pays $300 for a bootleg Turbo Man that speaks a different language and is broken. And there is another father who is out searching for one too. And they finally have a showdown at the parade where they're all dressed up as characters from the Turbo Man TV show. So Howard is Turbo Man and Myron is Turbo Man's enemy. And Turbo Man is supposed to give away a Turbo Man action figure at the parade. Howard's son is there, and he intends to give it to him, of course. And Myron is basically the same person as Howard, and he wants it for his son too, so that they can both avoid being the dad who's let their kid down. But Howard reveals he's Turbo Man, and his son is so excited that his dad is the real Turbo Man that he doesn't care about the action figure anymore, and he gives it to Myron. So both men get to be the hero, and all's well that ends well. It's a light holiday film that lots of people can relate to, have a good laugh, and go about their shopping and maintain their holiday traditions. So I'm here to ask you to take a deeper look. It's easy to gloss over the psychological themes here because we're laughing. It's a comedy. These guys are silly. They're going to extremes and all that to get a doll. But this all started because Howard was so much of a people pleaser that he couldn't set boundaries with people. He had to be available and do whatever anyone asked of him to the detriment of himself and his family. And by the time he got home at night, he was spent and had nothing left to give. And this is why he missed his son's karate belt graduation on December 23rd and why he was out looking for Turbo Man on Christmas Eve. There are consequences to people pleasing. They're never pleasant for the person who's trying to save the world because there's never enough energy to do everything for everyone and control everything that can possibly go wrong. So you're always biting off more than you can chew. And you always miss something because you encourage people to expect you to save the day. It's a lot easier to say no, mean no, and set limits so that you can balance your needs with their needs. And why is Howard out searching for Turbo Man? Surely they already have presents ready for Christmas. So why is this one so important? It's because they have established that love means gifts. Are you familiar with the 5 love languages? I don't particularly agree with the philosophy, but I think that we need these 5 ways of showing love because they're common replacements for love. See, we come into this world hardwired to love our mother. We have to bond with her because our survival depends on her. We're cute, so hopefully she'll adore us. But she also has these hormone surges that promote bonding to us too, and that helps. And if all goes well, we have lots of skin to skin contact. She feeds us, she takes care of us, and we form a mutual bond with each other. But if she's got other kids, has a job, wasn't reared in a healthy family, is sick, or whatever reason, things don't always go well, we can end up feeling anxious about our safety and security. And if mom and dad don't have a warm relationship, if the household is abusive, if relationships are transactional, whatever they are, we end up learning how to love in ways that aren't exactly loving. They're probably transactional. So let's look at the 5 love languages to see what I mean. They are acts of service, gifts, words of affirmation, quality time, and physical touch. And how much of that do you think Howard was giving his son? We know he wasn't spending time with him. If he's not spending time with him, he's not giving him physical touch because he's not there to give it to him. As his father, he's providing for him, but I don't think his child is perceiving that as an act of service. He's not at his karate graduation. That's a huge opportunity to give him words of affirmation and quality time. So all that's left is gifts. I think that's how a lot of parents show their kids love. Isn't that what Christmas is all about? The bigger, better gifts you get, the more loved you feel. My problem with the love language is that they all feel conditional to me. They feel transactional. So think about it. The idea is that if your person doesn't feel special, you dial into their love language, do that thing, and then there is a great sense of connection and intimacy. Does that feel right? I don't think so. I've never had a new boyfriend and we had to sit down and say, okay, new guy, I want flowers and then hold my hand a little bit and tell me that you like all these things about me. No, it doesn't work that way. We do those things naturally because they feel good and it's the impulse of the moment. We don't do them to please other people. It comes from the heart. And when the heart is in a loving space, things flow naturally. And whether or not you're doing their love language thing or not, if we're connected and on the same page, it registers as love. So I don't think feeding into the love languages is a very healthy thing to encourage. It's true whether we're talking about a child or an adult. But this is what Howard and Myron are doing. They're using gifts as a replacement for love, which is a way to make up for all the time, touch, words, and acts of service that they didn't give before Christmas. And Jamie, Howard's son, says that his father's portrayal of Turbo Man was so amazing. It's the best Christmas ever. So he gives the Turbo Man to Myron so that he can give it to his son. The hero of the day isn't Howard, it's Jamie. He's the only one who truly knows how to give from his heart. All he truly wants is to be seen by his father. His father is a hero in his eyes. So is everybody's father. So if his father reflects that back to him by showing him that he sees him, appreciates him, and approves of him, it doesn't matter how that happens. It registers as love. The love we give is also the love we receive, so it's reciprocal. It's intimate. Whereas love languages are a one-way transaction. I give to you, you receive. Or sometimes it's I give to you in order to receive, which feels even worse to me because it involves scorekeeping. There's so much that we can learn from children because they bring innocence and open-heartedness to everything they do. Meanwhile, we see adults fighting each other over gifts, long lines, people losing their temper, all while doing something that is supposed to be joyous and done in the spirit of generosity and love. If it isn't that, should you really be doing it? What about honesty and integrity? Isn't that a part of love? And what about morality? This movie is showing that morality is way out the window. Howard was getting ready to steal his neighbor's toy. All of this is a way to continue his people pleasing and earn his son's love. And Myron literally attacked Howard in the parade in front of hundreds of people. His sole focus was getting that Turbo Man for his son. I know this is a comedy, and it's good to laugh at our obsessions and faults. So, it's easy to do when it's over the top. But if we aren't learning from this, is all that worthwhile? I hope you can see how absurd this is. And if this is you, stop doing it. Christmas is not a time to feel guilty about not getting your kids expensive, high demand things. Shopping, standing in long lines, overspending, and searching for the perfect gift is not my idea of a great time or a great holiday. Anytime materialism overshadows the love and connection, I think we've traded the joy for something a lot less precious and fed into a program that I'd rather not embody. No judgment. I wouldn't tell you what to believe or how to celebrate your holiday. I'm just asking you to think about what it is you're actually creating. If it's not what you want, should you do it? So, if you're tempted to count the number of presents or mentally tally up the dollar value of the presents, stop. That contributes to the social pressure and competition. Is that loving? Is that what you want your holiday to be about? So many holiday movies focus on family dysfunction and competition and pressure, and all of that's at the heart of the stress. So why do that to anybody, including yourself? If finding the perfect gift is getting in the way of connection and enjoyment, maybe you could cut out gifts altogether. Put a cap on what you spend or limit gifts to one thing or only handcrafted gifts. Handcrafted gifts take time to make, so that's going to limit what you can do automatically. It may mean that you get homemade cider or socks or a basket for Christmas. I think it's pretty cool. I have recently learned how to weave baskets, and I brought my mom some free-range eggs in my first basket. I intended to keep it because it's very imperfect, but I wanted to say, look back at it later and say, wow, look how far I've come. But she loved it. She didn't know that I made it, and she asked me if she could have it. So exchanging handcrafted things is a way to share a part of yourself. It's a way to share your skills and maybe share the thing you love. So maybe you grow mushrooms or make art. Remember when you were a kid and that's what you gave at Christmas? I do. That's really exciting and to give and receive in that way. So Jingle All the Way ends well. Jamie gets the love and attention that he wanted, and Myron gets a doll for his son because Jamie gives his doll to Myron. But does it end well? Nobody actually learns anything. What happened was that Jamie let go of his need for Turbo Man. He gave his father grace because he got something much more valuable. And if Dad and Myron don't learn from this, next year is going to be exactly the same. The problem wasn't that they couldn't get their hands on a Turbo Man. The problem was that they didn't cultivate healthy relationships and boundaries. They're using gifts, and in Howard's case, people pleasing, to feel good about themselves. And I hope this channel highlights mental health problems, the things we do really well, and also moves us towards solutions so that we can all be happy and connected. That's really the point of every video here. It's not about whether there's a happy ending or, I didn't get in trouble. It's really about, have I learned something that will make the next time easier? Or even, have I learned enough that there doesn't have to be a next time? So it's Black Friday, guys. It's the kickoff to the shopping season. I wish you an amazing, warm, heartfelt one and hope that you move into this season consciously so that it is everything you want it to be: relaxed, connected, and your bank account still in the black by the year's end. So this is kicking off the Christmas movie month. See you next time for another Christmas movie. And once again, I have a huge list of movie requests. There are so many great Christmas movies. I'll get to as many as I can. And if you like the channel, please share and subscribe. There's so much to learn from stories, and it's so much easier than making your own mistakes. Ciao.